Jared Polin, FroKnowsPhoto.com, and I wanted to share with you photos from the Made in America Fest, and it's the Jay-Z Made in America Fest, which was a couple weeks back in Philadelphia on the Parkway. For those of you who don't know where that is, it's at the Philadelphia Museum of Art, pretty much where Rocky ran up the stairs in Rocky 1? Was it Rocky 1? I think it was Rocky 1. Yeah, I think it was Rocky 1 where he ran up the stairs. But more on that when we get to some Rocky pictures. So I got a call pretty late into the game here to come out basically 2 days before. They said, why don't you come out and shoot the Made in America Fest? We'll get you a pass. You can do whatever you need to do. And I needed to do some behind-the-scenes stuff. Or what goes through my mind when I'm asked to shoot a festival is, how can I do something different than what a lot of other people may think about? Doors to get into the venue weren't open till noon. I showed up the first day at 10, talked my way in without my pass to one of the security guards. You have to pick the proper security guard. You have to figure out which one you can talk to first. And basically, here, I'll show you what I did. Let me get my passes. I'm getting my passes over here. I always wear my passes. So I always have these hanging by my belt so that it looks authentic, and it is, and I can show somebody that I'm the real deal. So basically I walked up to the one guy and I was like, hey, I'm going to pick up my passes. I'm working for so-and-so, and this is what I'm here to do. This is which tent I'm going to. So I knew all of this information. I threw out some names, and he's like, I'm going to trust you on this. So he let me in. When I walked past him a little later, I showed him my pass, just so that I showed him, look, I did get a pass. Everything was fine. Thank you for letting me in. So that's something. And so my goal here was to do behind-the-scenes shots and try to do things differently than just shoot on stage. So let's get into the photos. Right here, we've got my buddy Kevlar, who I was doing some photos for. He sets up, he does lasers, and he's got a big wall of LEDs. So his job, he's a visual artist, a VJ, visual J, visual, what do they call that? A VJ. It's just VJ, not visual J. Anyway, he's a VJ. A visual jockey? Video jockey? Sorry, guys, I'm getting it wrong. It's a video jockey. But anyway, he does a great job. So that's why he was the head of the tent where they were holding all the EDM stuff, the electronic dance music, for those of you out there who don't know what that is, because I didn't know what it was before. So here we go. Black and white. You know I love this. Strong images. Oops. I didn't mean to do that. There it is. So I love shots like this. They're setting up for the day. Kevlar's talking to the other guy. You can see the background. You can see the whole situation. To me, this tells a great story. So basically, I'm showing you 36 images, a cross-section from the day. I don't have all of them, or I'm not going to be able to show all of them because this would be a 40-minute long video, but I just want to go through some of the key ones that I picked out. So this is a good shot for Kevlar because it shows his setup. All of this stuff you see here is his, except for the speakers. This is his setup back here. This ring, this ring, this ring, all of these screens, they're his screens, so he owns that. These are awesome. This was a tent. You're going to get about 2,000-3,000 people in it, and it got packed. But I just wanted to show this for him. This is a great shot that he can use. Moving forward, I turned around, strong backlight, but I thought it would be cool to show this image as a silhouette. You can see the people working, you can see the lights set up, not the lights, the cameras set up, and I thought this one worked the best as a silhouette. Then we just have Kevlar shooting it with a 14 millimeter. ISO is reasonable at 2500 ISO. 14 millimeters, 1/640th of a second at 3.5. I don't always shoot wide open at 2.8. The reason I don't always shoot wide open at 2.8 is because 3.2 or 3.5 gives me a little bit more leeway to get things sharper. I like to be tack sharp, as you guys know, and I focus right on his eye, but that's why I shoot at 3.2 or 3.5. It gives me a little more leeway, and I have the extra ability to shoot at the higher ISOs, and most of you guys do. So if you bump that an extra stop to get that 3.2 or 3.5, I think you'll be happier with your images. Then out on the Parkway, normally this is filled with hundreds and hundreds of cars. I just thought it would be cool to sit down in the middle of the street and take a cool photo of the skyline. This is the Comcast Center. And then you've got these other buildings back here. But I thought it'd be cool to be like, look, I'm in the middle of the street where cars normally are. So that helps tell a story. So here we go. Here's Rocky. This is the Rocky statue. It used to be at the top of the stairs, which is back here. But now it's down off to the side. It has its own area. But what I found to be the coolest thing, the coolest thing about what was going on were all of these road cases stacked up this walkway. I thought that was awesome, so I walked myself back there. I had an all-access pass that I picked up randomly, was handed to me, so that gave me the ability to go where I needed to go to get these photos. But I thought it was important to show Rocky, and then to show these the cases. Now I'll tell you what I did here, because if you notice in this Rocky shot, everything's on a downward slope. I took one of those where I corrected for the angle, but I knew that if I showed it with the correct angle, people would probably yell at me because it would look like my horizons were off, but they weren't. This is a time where I chose to cheat it a little bit and tilt the camera slightly to give it more of a normal, straight, horizontal line look. So that's why I did that. But I think this is a great image to tell the story of all the cases. And I found that the cases were really important. You'll see a few more of those shots. Then this is where the Rocky statue used to be, and I thought it would be good to show a shot from back here. Now, there's not a lot going on, but this wasn't the easiest to do. I went to 1/5000th of a second to give me the sky. When I processed this, I did a lot of the let me just show you what I did. Look at all the shadows. Look what I did to the highlights, because that brings out the sky. See that? And then drawing in all the shadows. Oh, that's the contrast. Drawing in all the shadows, you can see what it did. It filled in the rest, and I think it still worked. So that's what I did for that image. And then back to more cases. Look at this. You got the stage in there. You have the cases on the left, the cases on the right in a really thick black and white. I went with a lot of black and white for these shots. As you know, I do like black and white. And the last shot before we get into the actual musicians playing is I saw this pointing, was back behind the stage. That's the Philadelphia Museum of Art, and I thought it was cool to have the scaffolding with the lights on it to show up in the foreground with this copper thing at the top of the art museum in the back in tight focus. So here we go. We've got Gary Clark Jr. playing. Very bluesy type music. So you know how blues guys play, and they make all kinds of John Mayer type faces. John Mayer makes the worst faces when he plays, but this is what I was going for. You got these strong lights in the background. This is a prime example of why I don't shoot with anything other than manual exposure. Because if you were set to matrix metering, your camera may have been thrown off by this light in the background, which instead of being 1/1600th of a second, it may have told me that I should have been shooting this at 1/4000th of a second, in which case it could look like this. Now that's not a good thing when shooting a show. That's why I picked my exposure. And for those of you who don't know, if you sign up on the Fronos Photo email list over at fronosphoto.com, you will get a free guide to shooting motion, capturing low light situations at concerts pretty much. So sign up for that. That's free. You'll get that. Moving on, this is a strong, thick black and white. The one thing that upsets me slightly is that I cut off the top of the guitar. Actually, I didn't cut off the top of the guitar. It's the capo at the top. That thing is up there. It doesn't kill me because this is the focus, but obviously I would love to have some space, and I would have had space, but no excuses. Working in the pit with 50 people, should have gotten it, didn't. It's still a strong image. Love the face that's captured. Love the emotion that's there. Love the black and white feel, because he comes across very well like that. Turned around to shoot the crowd. Everybody has their hands in the air. They're all cheering, taking pictures that they'll never look at again, and just showing you how many people are there in the pit. And that was one of the cool shots. Then we got Janelle Monáe. Look her up. She does some really, really cool soulful type music. I like what she's doing. Of all the shots I got, this was the most sensual feeling of them all. Some of the ones that I captured, and a lot of other people captured that I've seen of her, are of her screaming. And that doesn't always come across that well in images, but I thought this one did in black and white. It's very soulful. You got the bead of sweat dripping down her face right here. You can see that, and it's just a solid image. What ISO was I at here? I was only at 640, 1600th of a second at f4. So remember, I wanted my focus because we got all of this stuff in focus, yet the background is deep, it's still blown out, and I shoot at 1600th of a second to give me that fast shutter speed to capture the motion if there is any. This is, what D'Angelo, that's right. He was out there singing his soulful music, and I just loved this thick black and white. It really looks good horizontally, and look at the black and white, nice. Then we have a nice color with D'Angelo, but again, nothing super. Yeah, let me go back to this shot. See how he's holding it with his right hand here? If I was on the left-hand side of him, on the left-hand side of the stage, this shot wouldn't be as good because you wouldn't have a clear view of his face. You would see mostly the mic stand and the microphone. When you're shooting shows, you should do the research beforehand to know if the guy's left-handed, right-handed, or how he holds the microphone, if he's going to hold it, or she, so that you can pick the right side. In this case, you can see that he's holding the microphone now with the other hand, so I guess he switches quite often. But I think this is an okay shot. It's nothing uber-duberly fantastically special. It just is a nice live shot for the shows, especially with the colors in the background. Then we got the guy from Passion Pit. What I do like about it is the bright, bright light that's coming in back here. Remember, again, if you were an aperture priority, this probably would have thrown your exposure off and messed it up. In this case, because I was shooting in manual exposure, I was able to get it right. Look, only thing I did was pump contrast. Didn't even need to change my exposure. Not bad at all. This is Calvin Harris in the EDM tent. You know, they do this all the time. Very popular. The tent was so packed that I had to go onto a beach deck in the back and shoot with the 70-200 and try to do what I could do. But I thought that this worked. There's really not much you can do with the DJs other than this type of shot. I showed this because look at all of the people in the crowd. It was so packed. It was 20 deep outside the tent on the left and on the right. You couldn't get in there, and if you did, you would have sweated like no tomorrow. Like no tomorrow. Then Skrillex played. Nobody could shoot Skrillex. They wouldn't let you shoot Skrillex unless you were all the way in the back. So this is the closest I got to Skrillex, and there he is. That is Skrillex himself. I basically shot somebody holding up a camera, and it worked. Now we're moving over to Jay-Z. I wasn't going to shoot this shot because it was too dark, but then I was like, I should take it and see if I could do something with it, and I like all of these lights up here, giving you that feel that it's drawing you in with that triangle. Actually, that's like this. Wow, look at that. It's like that thing. That works. And it's a cool shot. This is one of the better ones. This is not cropped. As you can see, I was able to get the whole frame done properly without cutting anything off. Was able to, with the D4, get highlights in the shadow area, bring back a little bit with some of the shadow detail that you could still see his eyes. That's a good thing. That's something that may not have happened on my D3S because the shadow detail, you pick up more of it with the D4. Just a shot of him singing, color, yeah, and that's it. I mean, the Jay-Z stuff was okay. When you shoot 3 songs and there's 50 people in the pit, it's not easy to switch lenses, 1, and it's not easy to move around, 2, and try to get stay out of people's ways. It's tough. It's tough. Moving forward, we've got Santi Gold, and it was raining, so you can see that I captured the raindrops. Not Tiny Tim style, but I captured the raindrops. They look good. Look how sharp she is, shooting at 800 ISO, 12/50th of a second. But live shots, as you can see, they're just plain to me. They serve a purpose. The client's very happy with shots like this, but I want to go above and beyond that. The Hives put on one of the best shows I've ever seen. They're just so enthusiastic, and they just do a really great job. So here he is. Then he jumped into the crowd. This picture is not going to turn out for this person because he's way too close. It's not going to close focus on his mouth. But this is what happened in the pit. He jumped into the crowd, jumped down onto the ground. All the photographers, like 25 of them, were all huddled in the middle. So now they have to back up to try to be around, get these photos. I went 20 feet away from these guys. I left the 70-200 on. I knew he was going to jump down because there was discussion with security that how would he do this. And so he ended up doing it in the last song, and I chose not to put on the 24-70, to stick with the 70-200. I backed away from the crowd, which allowed me to stand up on the barricade because I'm not blocking anything. Everybody's looking at him, not me, and we're not supposed to do that. You'll get yelled at, and I actually did get yelled at by the security guard. He's like, "Get down." But I got my shots, then I got down, and that was it. I stepped away from all the other photographers who were holding cameras above their head, who were just trying to get a shot, and I backed away. I would have loved this if his microphone was fully in there, but I still like the shot. but I like this shot a lot more. The emotion is there. His head's tilted back. The crowd, he's holding his hands. You know, you can see what the other photographers are trying to shoot, but because I backed away, I was able to get better shots. So the second day there, I was able to find my way on stage, which was almost impossible, but I got a different pass, a working pass, talked to the right people, was able to get up there for just Jill Scott, and I was able to do it, and this is what I came up with. I wanted to show the crowd. I wanted to show the skyline in the background. So this is okay. It's not my favorite. I would have loved to have gotten into a different area, but I like shots like this because you can see the people blown out in the background, and it looks like a larger type event. If I could have gotten into this area, like I wanted to go behind the keyboarder, I wanted to go into this area right here, but they wouldn't let me, I could have gotten some better shots. Oh yeah, what I didn't tell you about this shot is it's actually one where I held the camera above my head. It's one of those no-no things that I talk about, except now with the live view on, I could see what I was doing, and I wasn't just shooting aimlessly out into nothing and not getting my composition right. So I held the camera up, looked through as the live view like this, and got the shot. So I liked it. Kevlar back in the tent, showing him working. This is great for his website. You can see that he's controlling. I know he's controlling the lights and the video on the screens. Actually, he's controlling the videos on the screen. Somebody else is doing the light. But to show him doing the video and see him doing it at the same time, that's a winning shot for him. I almost said nice job to myself. Then we had Run DMC come on, and they were awesome. They did a great job. I didn't get a lot of shots of Rev Run. It was very hard to get shots of him, especially together. A wider angle would have been better, but we didn't have a lot of time to switch, so I stuck with the one. And then this is what I saw. I saw this light in the background, and it was shining really, really bright, and I maneuvered myself as easily as I could, or not as easy because it was hard, but I found a spot to get the light totally around him. Look at the rim light. Look at how it just separates him from the background. And he's yelling, and there's sweat on his brow, and look at this. The dust and the rain is popping. The criticism I have for my own shot is I would have loved to have gotten him more in the center of the frame. It may not have worked because of the light or how quickly he moved out of this spot. This is the time where I utilized a motor drive to take 3 quick pictures. Not 18, not 12, 3 quick ones. 1, 2, you know, like a boom, boom, and then recompose, and then a boom, boom, because I wanted to get this. And I was happy with it, and I liked it. Moving on. Drake, it's an okay shot. Not my favorite. I like the light in the background. I like that light. And then the last one is this. It's just a generic live shot, in my opinion. But I think it was a successful shoot. I had fun. And one thing that I did pick up after, because a lot of people had them, is a step stool to use in the pit. It just gives you an extra almost foot, 10 inches of height, which is going to help you get over the monitors. And I went with a pink polka dotted one because nobody else is going to have a pink polka dotted one, and I'm really happy with this pink polka dot. I go for the over the top. So that's it. That's the Made in America Fest photos. I hope you enjoyed the rundown of me breaking down and critiquing my own type of work. And there you have it. Jared Polin, FroKnowsPhoto.com. See ya. Are you subscribed yet on the YouTube channel? Well, click this subscribe button right here. Also click this box if you want to be emailed every time I upload a new video so you can get the latest video uploads as they happen. And also, if you haven't signed up for the free user's guide, sign up right here. Put your name, email address in here, hit send it. You will get a free ebook sent to your email, as well as a link to a 60-minute long video on flash photography in the studio that Adam and I created. So please do that, and we'll see you.